Hi, it's your girl Paulina, and I'm going to show you how I get volume in my waist length fine straight hair. So this is the natural texture of my hair. It's basically air dried, and this is the after. And I've been obsessed with getting volume in my hair, which is not easy to do if you have straight hair, fine hair, and also long hair. So just keep watching to see how I do it. First, there's a few key things that I'd like to point out. Of course, a good haircut is key. So in the past, the mistake I used to make is having way too many layers in my hair. If you have fine hair, you're better off layering as little as possible, and that kind of keeps the length looking nice and thick. I like the bottom to look like I have a lot of hair. It's like very blunt cut at the ends. And I no longer overly layer my hair because it doesn't, I don't know, it just makes it look thinner if you have more layers. So I minimize the amount of layers I have in my hair, just keep it around my face. Another thing that helps give my hair a lot of volume is bleaching and coloring it. Yeah, you do have to be careful to minimize damage and keep your hair healthy, but I do like to have some bleached highlights around the crown, around the face, and a little bit around the ends. Just enough bleach on your hair kind of roughs up the cuticle and actually creates volume. The other key part is basically just maintaining healthy hair if you do bleach. So there's that. The other thing is trimming pretty often. Obviously, you don't want to over trim. Like I said, I don't want to have too many layers in my hair because it kind of negates the purpose, makes my fine hair look even thinner, and it gives me more of this mullet hairstyle that I don't like. Also, the length gets too thinned out with too many layers, and my hair at the bottom doesn't look as thick. So I do like to trim pretty often, especially on a day when I'm going to be wearing my hair down and I want it to have a lot of volume that lasts. I will go ahead and just kind of trim up my bangs, my face framing layers, maybe even add a little bit of texture with some thinning shears just along the small portion of my hair around the hairline that's actually layered. So as you watch this video, you'll see me just going in and carefully picking out the little layers around my face that I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of a trim and blend and texturize them. Basically, that's kind of like the idea of when you haven't had a haircut for a very long time, you start to get frustrated because your hair doesn't really cooperate with you. Like you will find yourself spending a lot of time and effort trying to style your hair, and it'll just kind of, not hold the curl or fall flat. So why not just go in and give your hair a little bit of a refresh? Because freshly trimmed bangs and layers tend to kind of have more of a bounce, I think you know what I mean. So you can see how little hair I have sectioned out to actually trim around the front of my face. It's hardly a big section at all. It's actually very, very thin. It's just a little bit of hair around my face, and that I'm gonna later blend into the rest of my layers, basically the front portion of my head. And that's all I really need to be trimmed kind of shorter, because not only will that help the rest of your hair look thicker, which would also help it to have more volume, but it would also maintain the length as well to make the bottom part of your hair look like it's nice and thick and long. And it's just the short hairs around your face that's going to be doing the work to give you that volume and that shape of the haircut. And that's another nice coincidence because the hair around your face is the part of your hair that's going to be styled more often. And it's okay because it's the hair that you trim more often and you trim shorter as well. So a lot of my blonding is done around my face frame and bang area. So if I were to let that hair grow long, it would not really look good because that's the hair that's, bleached more often, or more pieces of hair gets bleached, and it's the part of my hair that I tend to style with heat more often. A lot of the times I will heat style just the front of my hair and leave the rest alone. And since it's subjected to more damage, both chemical, mechanical damage, it's even more important that I do trim it often. And it works out because trimming it helps to maintain the shape and give me volume and hold the style better. So it's a nice coincidence. Ideally, I would always try to blow dry my hair as little as possible, and of course not use any heat tools like curling irons or flat irons that much. But sometimes you just can't always live your life around your hair. So there will be days where I don't have enough time, or I didn't plan it out well, and I do want to wear it down and have it look good. So I need to have a bunch of different routines that work for me that kind of cater to different parts of my wash cycle, or what I'm working with when I'm starting out with the styling. So in this case, the night before, I washed my hair and I just let it air dry. And I don't go to sleep with wet hair either. You basically have very fragile hair when it's wet. So I try to air dry it as much as possible. If there was any hair that was still damp, I will hit it with a blow dryer just to get the roots completely dry. And air drying helps to have some kind of volume in the hair too, to start with. I mean, it kind of gives you like a little bit of natural texture. But in the case of straight hair, not really that much. Anyway, here I'm showing you the parting I do to try to blend some of my short layers into the rest of my hair without sacrificing the thickness at the bottom. So that's all the layering I do. The rest of the hair, if it ever gets cut blunt and straight. And afterwards, I hit it with a little bit of heat with my Dyson flat iron. I noticed that this causes the least amount of damage. It is an investment, but it's like the hair is touchable and warm, not scalding hot, as I've noticed with other flat irons. And another thing with fine, straight, long hair is when you heat style it, it usually doesn't last. It falls out, but not with flat iron curls. With this lasts basically until I wash it again. Now, going back to the importance of maintaining volume in long, straight, fine hair, hair health. Hair health is super important. So I am loving finding things like this K18 Astrolift volume spray, because traditionally anything you do to get volume in your hair inevitably used to cause a lot of damage. So a lot of hairsprays, styling products that create volume would dry out and damage your hair. But this is a product that can be used on dry hair, or it can be used before heat styling. and it works to basically rebuild bonds in your hair. So it creates volume from the inside out by getting strength from the hair from within. So now I can enjoy some lasting volume until I wash it in about 2 days.